Hello viewers, Brian Broggie, voiceover talent here. Well, I am supposed to be recording auditions right now, but they are running, they're doing tree trimming next door at the park, and they're running a tree muncher. Well, they say you can't design your kitchen for Thanksgiving, and clearly you cannot design your home recording studio for tree trimmers. So, instead, I wanted to bring something to your attention, a piece of equipment that I don't think is getting enough exposure for voiceover talents that are looking for something that they can, when they're upgrading from their USB mics and you're ready to go to one of the professional mics with those Canon 3-pin connectors on it, and you know you need a preamp and you need some way of hooking that into your computer, which wants some kind of digital input, generally through a USB port. Well, here's a device that is perfect for that. It's got input for Canon type microphones, professional microphones. It's got several kinds of digital outputs, including USB into your computer, and it retails for about $450. This is June of 2017, so figure your price. And it's a very versatile and feature-rich device. It's manufactured by a company called ART, A-R-T, Applied Research and Technology, and the model is voice channel. It has inputs for mic or instrument on the front, and then on the rear it has input for the microphone. It has a gain adjustment. It's got tons of gain. Phantom power, low cut, pad to reduce the input volume by 20 dB. It has a variable impedance adjustment to set it just right for your microphone. It's got a compressor and a de-esser. It's got an expander, which I find really great to help lower the background noise when I'm recording. And probably the coolest feature of all, it's got this wonderful equalizer. I have it a little high on a little bright on the high end for my particular microphone, and I cut the mid and the low down, so it's a more natural sounding voice. It doesn't have a lot of bass to it, which for most voiceover recordings you don't want. It's got output levels in both a bar graph and a VU meter, and it has digital output with a sample rate dither adjustment on the front and final output level out here. But the best part about the whole thing, the really coolest thing, is what's on the back. You have 4 different digital outputs: optical, SPDIF, AES-EBU, and USB to your PC. So right there you have a wide variety to be able to connect to different pieces of equipment. Okay, downsides to this piece of equipment? Well, I have it mounted in it's a rack-mountable device, and I have it rack-mounted in an old piece of stereo equipment, which improves the look somewhat, but it's not a real sexy-looking piece of equipment. It's just black knobs and white, no fancy chrome strips or anything like that. So it's a little sleepy on the appearance. So the other downside is the digital input from the ART going into your PC, you're kind of limited. You go into the advanced menu, and you'll only have 2 inputs: 24-bit 44.1, 24-bit 48. Despite all these settings, you still just have the 2 options available in the configuration. And then there's supposed to be an issue with latency, which is a fancy word for a delay. You're talking and you hear your voice a bit delayed after you say it, which can be very, very distracting. I totally understand why people would be upset about it. I, however, have a workaround to that, which you might find equally useful. My solution is this digital headphone amplifier, so I can listen on my headphones, and it's plugged directly into the back of the ART unit, so I don't have any latency. I hear my voice immediately. There's no delay, and I just let the audio record into the PC, and I'm not monitoring that I play it back later and do the editing on that. Okay, so why get a box with all these fancy frills in it? You have compression, you have de-essing, you have equalization, you have expansion, a lot of features that add an analog improvement to your audio before it even gets inside your DAW, avoiding all of the extra digital processing that tends to degrade the audio if you do too much of it. You can do it before then. It has a nice clean audio analog sound, and you can set it, and I have mine set and I don't even have to mess with it. I pretty much just record whatever I need to record, and I already know from listening to it earlier, samples earlier, that this is how it sounds. It's going to sound great. I can rely on it, and that means processing after it's been recorded is much faster. I'm just editing out. I don't have to do audio enhancing, and it's just much cleaner that way. So you can get one of these at Sweetwater, B&H, ZZ Sounds, all for about the same price. Kind of depends on what kind of follow-up service do you want, customer support, that sort of thing. And I want to assure you, I am not getting any kind of kickback or anything for this. Art or anybody else has no idea I've made this video until now. So this is just my personal opinion. Take it or leave it. But I think it's a pretty darn fine piece of equipment, and it might suit you. So Google it, look into it, see what you think. Till next time, Brian Broggie, voiceover talent, always looking. See ya.